Welcome to another exciting episode of the FlappCast, where we find out what goes on behind the funny here at Flappers Comedy Club and Restaurant. My name is Joshua Snyder. I am the promotions director here at Flappers Comedy Club and Restaurant. And this week I have the supreme pleasure of having one of my personal favorite comedians, an awesome comedian. If you've never seen her before, you must see her now.
Ooh, see me now.
Alycia Cooper.
Look out, get down.
Get to the chopper.
Get to the chopper. So I can bring the ratings down.
Current. All right. Alycia, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me, Joshua.
It is yes. Now, and the first thing I want to do, because this is very important. I think it's important to get the important things out first.
Okay.
You have a podcast.
I do. I have a podcast. I would love you guys to subscribe right now because obviously you're into podcasts. It's called A Hot 10 with Alycia Cooper, where I interview 10 hot comics a month.
Awesome. 10 a month. Okay, good.
Yes.
Who have you seen recently?
So recently I had Lunel. I don't know if most of y'all should know. She was on tour with Cat Williams for several years. She was in Borat, and Lunel is just fearless. So I had her. I had Bobby Lee.
Okay, I know Bobby. Yep.
You know Bobby Lee. I had Eliza Schlesinger.
Oh, awesome.
Marsha Warfield, who was on the Richard Pryor show.
Oh, wow.
She came on and killed it. I got some history in there. So just a bunch of great comics, and we've been having a lot of fun. Kim Whitley, she was on the OWN network with Oprah, a show called Raising Whitley, and just a bunch of great comics, and they never stop. Wendy Liebman, Greg Warren, some of my personal favorites. So far so good. I haven't been doing it that long, but it's getting rave reviews. I have 3 million subscribers already.
We'll make that 3,012,000. All right. That's sort of not true. All right, good, very good. So, Alycia, I was reading your bio, and you also, you were a theater major, right? You went to.
Well, I was actually a radio, television, film major at the University of Maryland College Park, and I ended up doing theater because they had a production of The Wiz that we could audition for, and so I went in and auditioned for it, and it was a great opportunity. I got the role of Evelyn in The Wiz, and they brought over the biggest director from Howard University at the time named Mike Malone. He was Debbie Allen and Felicia Allen's mentor at Howard University, and this man came over to the University of Maryland and slammed. It was the best production, and just to get to work with royalty like him was a lot of fun.
And did you do a lot of theater while you were there? Or
I only did like a couple things because most of the stuff wasn't right for me, you know. But musical theater, I enjoyed it. So I got to sing and perform, and rarely do you get to do that. So a lot of times things happen where the stars align properly for you, and that was one of the times. And it's like lightning striking over and over again, and it didn't happen that many times.
Would you ever go back to do a musical again?
I would love it. If something was right for me, I would absolutely. That's what essentially why we do comedy. We love the live aspect of it. We love the immediate. Whatever it is that we get. I don't care if it's a clap, a boo, whatever it is, it's going to be immediate. And that's what I love about theater, so I would absolutely go back.
That is cool. Could we maybe get you to hum a few bars of what you're saying? Could we maybe?
Don't nobody bring me no bad news.
Awesome. That is, very good. So had you been doing, when did you start doing stand-up? Was it before or after?
I started later. I started after watching Def Jam on HBO, and then I accidentally fell back into it in the year 2000. So I've been doing it consistently since the year 2008. I quit my job, so I've been doing it full-time since 2008.
Wow. I was always fascinating to me at what point, how and when and why someone says to themselves, you know what I'm going to do with my life? Stand-up comedy, because I'm too happy. And
and I'm making too much money.
Right. Things are going too well.
Yeah.
How can I derail myself?
Yeah, I'm too scared to kill myself, so I may as well try this. And you know what? I guess everything is different for everybody. I was unhappy at my job, so that helps. I was producing television, so I worked on a lot of different TV shows, and the one that I was working on right before I quit was the Dr. Phil show, and not to say that's the reason, but But I just been working and long. Production is long hours. So, and I mean long hours. So, after a while, you feel a little burned out. What you will miss is the paycheck every Friday, and that's what I do miss. But other than that, I mean, you're not stuck in an office anymore. You don't have office politics. You don't have a ton of coworkers. And in the beginning, it's so much fun. You're just traveling and setting your own schedule, getting up when you want to get up. A lot of times you're going to bed really late, but it's like college all over again. You're independent and just only doing what you want to do. And it's beautiful in the beginning. Now, if you don't hit it big soon, you're like, uh-oh, what have I done? Look at my checking account balance. And that's when you start rethinking this whole thing.
Do you remember your first joke you ever told?
First joke I ever told. Well, when I first tried it, I didn't know that people were preparing material and writing and preparing an act. I told a horrible joke I had heard. This was like around 1995, 96, and it was awful. The joke was something like, your mother doesn't have any arms, so she spins the wheel on Wheel of Fortune like this. And I kicked my leg out and said, big money, big money. And the audience just looked at me like I had 8 heads, like they should have. It was awful. But at least they didn't boo. It was just all silence. And the sad thing about it was I had my cousin there videotaping this on one of those huge, remember back in the day when the videotape had a whole VHS tape on the side of it? My cousin had the VHS, just pop, when you pop out, you can go straight from the VHS to the machine. That was convenient. But one of those big cameras, and she's recording the whole thing. And back then, we used to dress up to do stand-up and dress up to do an open mic. I got on stockings, and I am dressed up with no material. I looked the part, but it was awful. And, yeah. So that was my first joke. I got complete silence. The rest was even worse. And I had it all on tape. And I haven't been able to find that tape. I had on a pleated skirt. And it just doesn't get any worse than that. So that's the joke I remember telling. Now, the very first joke I ever remember telling in life, I was in the 7th grade in middle school, and I had asthma. So every day I had to go to the school nurse at lunchtime to get my asthma medication. So it was an old white lady nurse. Went into the nurse's room, and I said to her, you know why they call them nuns? And she said, why? I said, 'cause they don't get none. And the nurse fell out laughing.
Gotcha. So that was really your first time, we'll say, and then your next one was your second time. That's how we'll fix that. Now,
that was bad.
But it worked. It got the laugh. That's what's
the nurse
important.
laughed.
I'm curious now. So this first time you get up, it does not go well when you're doing the open mic.
No.
How long until your next time? How much time
Probably about a week, and I went to a place in D.C. called Tacoma Station, and I still didn't have anything prepared, still didn't have an act, still crashed and burned. Then I stopped for probably 4 years. I mean, it was just bad. It just wasn't registering to me what it took to do this job and do it well. I didn't know anybody who did it. I didn't know what the process was.
Gotcha.
And it just didn't go well. I remember one time I came out here to L.A. because I was thinking about moving to L.A., and they would do this show. I think it was Sunday nights in a belly room at a comedy store. And the host was, what is his name? He's now on Real Husbands of Hollywood, Buddy Lewis. Buddy Lewis was the host. And I went up to Buddy. The show hadn't started. Like, people were filing in, and it was all noisy, and the show was about to begin. And I said to Buddy, hey, I'm here from D.C. Do you mind giving me a couple minutes? And, back then, if you're from out of town, anybody can go first. Like, nobody really wants to go first. Then if you're from out of town, they're like, all of y'all are here. Y'all can come next week, but let me let somebody out of town. So he did. He let me go up, and I don't even know what I was thinking. The place was packed. And when I think about who was in the room that night, there was a lot of people that went on to become celebrities, like Yvette Wilson. She was on Moesha and the Parkers, and the room was packed. I went up and I told a joke, and it did not hit. It shouldn't have hit. It was everything I had was awful. Then more silence, more bad jokes, and then I give him the mic back. Buddy Lewis goes up, and this was right after a plane had crashed. It was TWA's Flight 800 had crashed. Buddy goes, she must have left her jokes on Flight 800. So now they're laughing. at my expense.
Ooh.
So those were the beginnings.
So, when 4 years later, right?
Yeah.
You fall back into it again.
Accidentally.
Accident.
I would have never chosen it.
How did that? What happened there?
I was producing a show for BET down here on Hollywood Way in Burbank called O Drama, and it was like a version of The View. And one of the producers said to me, this was like a Monday, she goes, Friday, I'm doing a show called The Next Big Thing. I'm doing 2 comics, 2 singers, and 2 rappers, and you're booked as one of the comics. I said, I don't do comedy anymore, Doris. I tried it. It didn't work out, and I have my own shows due on Friday. Well, you're the funniest person in the office. I'm like, well, how hard is that to be? So she said, so you're booked. And I said, oh, man. So I went and got a book called The Comedy Bible by Judy Carter. And then I started reading, oh, this is how you craft a joke. So then I start writing some jokes, and so I go to the Ha Ha Cafe, and I get up, and I try to work out my little bit of stuff that I scribbled down. At least I heard it come out of my mouth once. But, I said, okay, so now it's Friday, and I'm shooting this show, national TV, and they have judges. They had a couple judges that were comics who judged me and a girl named Samantha. And after we did our thing and they gave us critiques, the critiques were positive. Because if they had given me a negative critique, I'd have quit again. But the critiques were positive. I said, okay, well, this was fun. I got some laughs and I got some, good feedback. So maybe I'll try some more. So every once in a while after work, I'd leave work and go to the club at night. And so then I ended up sticking with it as I actually started preparing stuff.
Gotcha. So it's the Judy Carter Bible. It seems like that's what.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yep. And coupled with not getting an awful critique on national TV. So.
Yeah, that I can't imagine the pressure that you haven't done it. You haven't done it in years, and you're like, yeah, on Friday you'll be doing this in front of national TV.
Right.
What in the Bible kind of really specifically stuck out to you? What techniques or what?
It was just letting you know there's a premise and, just a topic, then you have to, it was just the way that it made me think about a joke. Because I never thought about it that way and act out or, any of that. Forget the advanced forms of the genre. It was just more of the basic stuff. Like, you have to set up the joke. Then when you come up with what your premise is, and then how a lot of topics we've already heard before, but how are you going to make it sound different?
Right.
So because everything's been done pretty much once for the most part, but now you have to take this and spin it with your life experiences and what you think is funny and why is your joke different than anybody else's. So, just realize that there's a structure. I had no idea there was a structure.
Right.
And that was the biggest. It was like a light bulb went off.
And I think that's kind of the secret to it too. It makes sense because when you watch someone like Richard Pryor doing his 1 hour special, it seems like he's just coming up with it. Just
like he's improvising.
Right.
And you don't realize that everything he's doing is structure.
Right.
It's just hilarious structure. But, it's just when you look back on it, you're like, okay, now I see all along what I was missing. And there's so many variables to this game. But once you really start to realize what it is, you can then start to craft something that feels, organic and natural to you. And I think what we have to learn as comics, which I've said before, because I've lived a little bit of everywhere doing comedy. I've done it in D.C., I've done it in New York City, I've lived in Vegas, L.A., of course. And one thing I realized, because I watch a lot of comedy too, is the more authentic you can be, the better. I watched this one guy, they gave him a show in Vegas, a showroom. Nobody ever even heard of this guy before. And I said, well, let me go see what he's doing, because I would like to get a residency. Oh, it was awful, 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 awful. And the main thing that made it so awful was that the guy, to anybody's eyes or any kind of layman, you would look at the guy and go, oh, he's gay. And you would keep on talking and doing whatever. The guy had perfectly arched eyebrows, like everything about him. I mean, it was like, hey. But he would get on stage and talk about the kind of woman he liked, and it just didn't fit. People started chatting, because they're like, now you're insulting our intelligence. And because he wasn't being honest, he couldn't be funny.
Yeah.
You know, so it was just like, dude, come out here and tell us about who you blew last night. Crack us up. You know, we don't believe you. Helen Keller, if she was alive, she wouldn't believe you. You know, so it's like, that's when I realized authenticity matters. You know, it matters. Don't tell us you're dating a woman when you look and sound and act like Jim J. Bullock. You know, just go ahead and live your life. We just want to be entertained. We really don't care that much. You know? And if you're being yourself, then you can sell it to us because you believe in it. And that's what I really realized. Just be as honest as you can be and let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah. Authenticity, it always comes back to that. And do you because I always feel like when I do stand up, when I watch comedians do stand up, and I see how they evolve, that ideally they're becoming more and more authentic.
Right.
And along your journey, was there a point where you kind of reached that level? Was it there from the beginning? Was there a point where you went, I gotta change up what I'm doing?
Yeah, in the beginning, I think most people are very insecure because you don't have much material. So you always feel like you're a lamb being brought out to slaughter until you can at least get 15 minutes. You know, so in the beginning, I was very uncomfortable with silence. So I would write jokes so that like every 20 seconds I could hear a laugh. So just be like, because if I wasn't getting a laugh, I would get nervous. And if I would tell a joke that usually got a laugh and it didn't get a laugh, I forget the whole rest of my act. So, and I cared a lot about the laughter. So years later, the place where I am now, that's not what I care about. Like, if I don't get a laugh, I don't care at this point. But now it's more of me getting my point across, me being able to say what it is I wanted to say. And when you watch the greats, like a Bill Cosby, this man can tell one story, not get a laugh for 10 minutes because he's telling you a story, and then the payoff, you know. So, but he's comfortable because he knows I have something coming down the pike that you're going to laugh at. I don't need you to laugh for 10 more minutes. Just sit here and listen.
Right.
I'm holding court. And so that's the point I had to get to now. I don't need to hear the laughter like I used to, you know, because I think as you do it more and more, you build up your own level of confidence.
Right. It becomes, you don't have to prove anything. And then there's freedom.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Would you say your writing process now is what it was in the beginning, or is it?
My writing process now has changed with technology because now, what was always been if something made me laugh, I would try to write it down because it's got to start with me thinking it's funny first. Now I'll just voice record it. So if I think something's funny, I'll just open up my little note and voice memo and and then I'll craft it that way. I don't write or type the way I used to because now I feel like I know what'll work and what won't work. So I'll just voice memo it and then I'll put it in a bullet point of a set list in the middle and then I'll do it and then work it out on the audience.
Gotcha. And you've done late night sets, right?
The only late night show I did was on BET. I've never done Conan, Kimmel, any of that kind of stuff. I would love the opportunity to do it, but I've done one late night show years ago, and I was so nervous that I didn't get to enjoy the process. So I feel like if I ever get that shot again, I'll enjoy it a lot more.
And what I find fascinating about, I feel like doing a late night set is not quite the same as doing any kind of just regular live stand-up, because first of all, the script you can't deviate.
Nope.
And you've got to, it's close. You've got to not, you've got to stick to the script, but at the same time, you have to make it appear as if you're just coming up with it on, in the moment.
Right. And it's almost like when I watch it, it looks staged because it's like they tell a joke, wait for laughter. Then it's almost like an applause meter is going, and then they'll start up again, and they'll tell their punchline, and they stand there like robots, and then the laughter. And I'm just like, this doesn't even look fun. Like I like more of a loose. Like when Arsenio came back, his comedy seemed a little bit more loose and free flowing. It just seemed more fun. So everybody else looked stressed out to me. Their suits look extremely pressed, and they won't move their arms, and they're sweating, and I mean it just looks so stressful.
Yeah. I know. Yeah, that's what I. Yeah, because and it's interesting how I'll see somebody do their set on a late night show, and then I'll see them live, and it's like two different people.
Yeah, because they're enjoying it now.
Right. And so when you were working on the BET, were you? Was it the situation where you had did they like approve it and you had to give you notes and everything?
Yeah, I sent it in and everything, but all they really wanted to make sure was that you weren't cursing. So you could use innuendo, you could do anything else, but you just can't curse. So as long as you turn in something that doesn't have any cursing in it, you'll be okay.
Gotcha.
But for me, everything, just the day that I was going there, I flew into Atlanta. My flight was delayed.
Ugh.
Then when I landed, the car service they sent for me, the car broke down. It was just so much stuff that happened in a row that was out of my control. My stress level was up to here. Then when I finally got to the studio, my stocking ripped. It was just pure hell that had nothing to do with them and everything to just do with Murphy's Law. So I was just frazzled. It could have been more fun if I didn't have so many things go wrong.
Wow, gotcha. But you did it.
But I did it.
Yeah.
And the set was beautiful. Everything was just nice. I got a good video out of it. It was once it was done, I could finally exhale. It's like a final exam in college. You can't exhale till it's done. So that's how I felt. I was able to exhale once it was done. But that was a stressful. It's so stressful. I can still remember the amount of stress years later. So.
How long did it take you to come up with that 5-minute set? Did you already have it, or?
I already had it. I just had to, type out what I thought would work for that demographic. So I already had it. And I'm somebody who likes to throw in current events at the time. The shoe bomb, the man tried to blow up the plane with a bomb in his underwear, and all he did was burn his drawers and his ass. So I talked about that because it was current, and then I went into some evergreen stuff.
Gotcha. Yeah, because I always see you do like a mix.
Yeah,
you'll kind of throw in some current stuff towards the beginning, and then
go into more of the personal tried and true. Yeah, because my thing is I love topical stuff. The problem is topical has a short shelf life, so you have to keep writing, but then it forces you to keep writing. So that's what I prefer. I prefer topical and political, and then some evergreen stuff. Yeah, I have friends who have one act. And they'll do that one act for 10 years. That couldn't be me.
Yeah. It's how do you? Yeah,
I get tired of hearing myself say the same shit.
Would you ever do The Daily Show? Be a writer on it?
I would love to be a writer on any political show that would have me. Samantha Bee. I don't even hear about like when somebody's hiring. They talk about you have to turn in a packet. I'm not even in on the packet turning phase. Like, what is all this cloak and dagger clandestine? If you want some good writers, let us fucking know so we can submit. You whispered it to 3 fucking homeless people. I would like to turn in a packet and get turned down, but at least let me turn in a fucking packet. How am I not allowed to work a job I was never considered for? Then they go, women are funny and women can't do it. Women haven't learned about the fucking job. You fuck faces. You fuckity fuck faces.
Might not be the way to.
Sorry.
Friends and
executives, if you're listening to that. That was not for you. That was for the other fuckity fuck faces that haven't sent me a packet. How do you not send me a packet? I have more political shit than anybody, and I can't get in the running to send in a packet that you can deny me the job for. I can't even get the packet so I can get denied.
So speaking of politics,
yes.
How are you?
I'm angry. It's rained every day since Trump took the fucking oath. This orange buffoon. It was sunny under Obama. Now I need an umbrella every damn day. The sky is crying. How did this happen?
Well, it's interesting. I was reading about how one of the things Obama wants to do is, now that he's out, is focus on the redistricting, because that was a part of it was how,
the gerrymandering.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was big. But why is it that Democrats just allow every damn thing? They will allow Republicans to redistrict, gerrymander, red line, and we just sit back and watch like we're spectators to our lives. And they will move the ball and move the goal line every time to make sure that they come out on top. You know, it is so ridiculous. That's why we keep losing. We lose when we win. We had the popular vote with Gore. We had the popular vote with Clinton. And we're sitting at home mad as hell. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. And then, I mean, the new thing with all these, I mean, how did Trump win when he hasn't told one factual sentence? Everything he says is a lie. So now I got to read the article, then I got to read the lie, then I got to go read the truth. He's doubled my work. You know, and then he's provided jobs for so far, fact checkers. You know, I'm like, this is awful. How did we get here?
Now, as in your comedy, because when you get political, have you been encountering situations where part of the crowd gets, the Trump supporters get hostile? Has there ever been, or by and large, have crowds been kind of on board with you?
You know what? I try to write my material in such a way that it doesn't seem like I'm piling on any one person. So I see the Republicans in the audience. It's usually old white men with their arms folded. I see them. I have eyes. Oh, well, you'll get over it. You have money. So, but what I do is I talk about Trump first, and I exhaust myself on his ass. Then I go to Hillary. Then I go to Bernie Sanders or anybody else. So everybody had something said about them. You know, I'll talk about Obama. I'll talk about everybody. So then they start to relax because they're like, okay, she's an equal opportunity offender. I can unclench my ass cheeks and enjoy the show.
Gotcha.
So that's how I do it. I make sure I slap everybody, but Trump gets slapped more often and harder and more frequently than the others.
Now, have you been following this other guy? I'm going to get his name wrong. Yano Deba.
Milo?
Yeah, that one.
Oh, he got in trouble today because they found the old podcast he did. See, I need to be careful with these damn podcasts. Found an old podcast he did like 4 years ago. He was basically condoning child molestation. So they're ripping his book deal back. He's losing bookings, and he can't possibly go to any kind of bookstore and do a signing because Democrat mothers are going to be picketing in front of that damn bookstore. So he finally stepped in it. But I looked at him and I said, that man has been gang raped and molested. I knew it by just looking at him. You know, because he's so miserable. He's so over the top. He's so busy trying to be the antithesis of what people think he is. And he's trying way too hard. And I said, he just looked damaged to me. And, the way he overdid it with Leslie Jones and Ghostbusters and all that stuff, hurt people. And so now he's talking about how, it's beneficial when an older guy takes interest in a young guy because he might not have high self-esteem. Not when the young guy is 12. You know what I'm saying? Like, so he is in hot water, and that's what happens to you. Karma always comes back and hits you in your head like a boomerang, and that's what's happening to Mr. Milo.
And well, it also seems like he part of why he got here was capitalizing on the addictiveness of negativity in social media.
Yeah. And think about the time, and the president was being vindictive and divisive and negative, and if it worked for Trump, he's like, it can work for me. Look at the girl, Tommy Lauren or whatever her name is.
Right.
So when she was at UNLV, she was a liberal, but being a liberal doesn't pay. Shit, I'm about to become a conservative. We'll say no more abortions. Women, go back to the kitchen.
But doesn't that I don't know, what bothers me about it is that, I don't know, like I work as hard as I can to write the best possible jokes that I can and post them online.
Right.
And it bothers me when I'm doing that, and then meanwhile these other people are, if I just say something really, really offensive, I'm going to get a lot of attention.
And they will.
And that just
But do you want that kind of attention? If that's who you are, you should get attention being who you are and go all the way to the bank. But people think that free speech means freedom from consequences. That's not what it means. So say what you want to say. I've said jokes that were rude. I've said things where when I knew, as I said them, I knew that there could be a consequence for this, but I said it anyway. So then I can't get upset when there's a consequence for it.
Yeah.
You know, and the reason why we do stand up is because we want to say some stuff, you know, that we can't say if we had human resources. Look at Nick Cannon. Nick Cannon did his special on Showtime, and now NBC has something to say about it. And the problem is that you have to understand, NBC, you hired a comic. So when he does his special, he's doing him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, so that's the risk you take. Like, people didn't realize Bob Saget's act is nothing like Full House.
Right.
So you might go thinking you're going to see Full House Bob Saget and get your ass handed to you. That's the way it works. Comics are going to be themselves when they leave the office or when they leave work.
Yeah, and it's scary that there are consequences for comedians. Like, he should have the freedom to go do that.
Right. On Showtime, where you can curse.
And not even, you know, it's one thing if he was doing it on the actual NBC show, but he wasn't. He's going and doing it.
And he wasn't on the network. You know, so that's the thing. I mean, when you hire a comic, you know, that's what happens,
right.
You know.
That's the job.
That's the job. You got to go get one of those comics that's always been G-rated.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you want safe, you have to research them and find out, okay, they've always been safe. Mm-hmm. But not anybody that considers themselves to be edgy, they're going to be edgy in their special.
Right.
You know, they're not going to be like, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day for a neighbor. No, they're going to be themselves.
Now, are you in the process of, are you trying to figure out how to do like a 1 hour special? Are you,
you know what?
Where are you in that?
I just don't like being at the beck and call of somebody else telling me you're approved for this or you're not. So I do my own stuff, and I put it out on my own. I've done 4 stand-up comedy albums, all produced by me.
Wow.
All done by me, all edited by me. Well, I did the time codes and told the editor where to cut it. But, everything by me. And I just put them out on my own because that way I don't need the approval of anybody else. So, that works best for me and for my self-esteem. Because if you wait for people to say, oh, we're now anointing you for this special, and then they don't, then you feel like crap. Like, oh, I'm not funny. Oh, I'm not good enough. Put it out yourself.
So when you put those albums out, did you do it through a label or totally on your own?
Totally on my own.
Wow.
I paid for the audio guys to mic myself and the audience. Mm-hmm. And then I just did it myself. I had it pressed into a CD. I got my duplicator to make my copies. I sell them at the end of my show. I keep the profits. They're on satellite radio. I get 2 checks. I get a producer check and an artist check. Oh, wow. And it works out best for me because, it would probably be better if I was under a label. I probably have more ears on it and all that stuff. But then you lose a lot of your money to that label. So, one day.
What advice can you give, because a lot of new comedians are listening to this, what advice can you give to someone who is at the point where they want to produce an album?
I say just do it. You can do something as simple as taking a Zoom mic and producing your own album. Take a Zoom mic to the club and produce your own album. But my advice would be, don't wait for somebody to anoint you ready to do this or you're funny enough. Everybody has their own audience. And what I had to learn was you're never going to be everybody's cup of tea. So find your little cluster of people who like you enough to come out and pay for you and work that cluster.
Where'd you do the album? Where'd you record them?
The last one I recorded at the Ice House.
Okay.
In the small room, the annex.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So I've done one in Gaithersburg, Maryland. So I've done them a little bit everywhere. That's the good thing about these things. You can do them anywhere. Mm-hmm. As long as you're at a venue with good audio. And then there's companies that do come out and tape you.
Okay.
So there's a company who wants to come out and tape my next one for satellite radio, but it needs to be 45 minutes clean. And I'm trying to decide if I want to even put myself through that. Like, I just want to, I just want to be able to say what I want to say. I don't have to worry about, is this clean while I'm talking? So we'll see. We'll see. I don't like the limitations. That's like, can you imagine somebody telling Richard Pryor, just, be clean in your next special. He's going to go out and do what he wants to do. And that's when you have the most fun and the most success. Mm. So we'll see. If I have some clean, I'll do it. But that's not my goal. My goal isn't to be a squeaky clean comic. My goal is to say the things I want to say and make them funny.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. So right now, let's talk about a little bit. Right now, are you on the road a lot?
Not as much. Right, I got a really good manager that sends me on a lot of auditions. And right now is pilot season. So I was told that I can't go anywhere February, March, or April. The catch-22 in that is I can't go anywhere and make money February, March, and April. So now I'm sitting here locally and trying to do little local things, and the money isn't going to be the same. So I'm just hoping that I book something. You sit here February, March, April, all your bills are backed up, and you didn't book anything. So, so yes, I will be around here February, March, and April.
Gotcha. And then on the road after that.
Oh yeah, then I got to play catch up especially if I don't book anything.
Gotcha.
I'm taking acting classes that cost. I just got some new headshots that cost. Everything costs. And then some of these auditions you have to self-taping. You have to go to a facility that costs.
Really?
Just costs are just piling up. You know, I'm like, why couldn't I have been Oprah's niece?
Well, see, that's why you got to become a conservative now, and just say something horrible, and you'll be able to make it through the year.
Yeah. That's what I'm gonna have to do. I got to figure out a gimmick.
Actually, I should qualify. Not all conservatives are horrible people. I should say that.
Only 98.6% of them, like a fever.
I want to talk a little bit about marketing and promoting, and where that comes into play as a comedian. What do you do? What do you feel how? What is it like now versus when you were just starting? Has it changed? Has it What's your process there?
I've never been good at marketing and promoting myself. And I'm trying to get my social media numbers up. And it seems like the only way you really get them up is if you do something like mainstream or something on a consistent basis. Like one time on this show isn't going to do it, or one time. You have to be the Nick Cannon where you're always on America's Got Talent, or one of the judges where you're there every week, or somebody on a reality show where you make it to the top 5, or it's got to be a lot of time consistently, or you got to be on The View, or something like that where people see you every day. And that's how it seems like you have to get your social media numbers up. Just performing, because I do perform a lot, it just crawls your numbers up like a slight uptick. It's not doing what I needed to do. And now a lot of agencies don't want to take you unless you have like 350,000 Twitter followers.
Right.
So how do you get 350,000 Twitter followers is the question. And like I said, I'm not good at branding and marketing. So, I have my podcast now where everybody told me, that should help your numbers. So we'll see.
Gotcha. Where can we find you, by the way, on Twitter and Facebook and all that?
Under Alycia Cooper, Alycia Cooper. And my podcast is on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, SoundCloud. And if you guys could subscribe to that would help out a lot, because I need to crawl my numbers up.
Well, listen, our 12 listeners in China will be on board. I assure you.
Thank you.
We do actually have 12. That's the cool thing about social media is that it's really, we get direct access to the world.
That's true. People in Dubai can be listening. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That is true.
They're about to, in Dubai, I was just reading, they're about to try out automatic aerial drones, manned. Like if you want to take a taxi or go somewhere, you get into a little drone with your suitcase, and it will fly you somewhere else in the city.
That sounds scary.
Yeah, I would say so.
And if you're a woman, it's going to fly you off a cliff.
Good point. Ooh. And they interviewed one of the people, or they interviewed a software person who's saying, "Well, yeah, that system can't fail." Thank you for.
No, remember, you know how they have the cars that drive themselves?
Yeah.
Remember that guy who got decapitated, the first one in a Tesla, because it can't read white. So supposedly, like a white pickup, like a white tractor trailer rolled by, and it messed up the car, and the guy went under it, and they decapitated him. So I'm like, all that stuff where you're letting machines drive for you and all that stuff, put your hands on 10 and 2 and save your life. Like, if we gotten that lazy that we need a machine, I would never trust it. I would never trust it.
Yeah.
I'm scared to get an Uber.
Yeah, I that worries me too, because you never know who's driving. And I saw that, but there's another company, I can't remember the name, that it's only female drivers.
Oh.
Like an all-female version of Uber, and that way there, the problem. But I think it's
like
only
women aren't criminals. They have Caitlyn Jenner's putting a wig on and coming and driving and killing your ass.
It's all female drivers, and I think all female passengers. And what sucks is that's the one I would want to do, but I can't, because maybe I can put on a wig.
That's discriminatory. So because you have a penis, you can't get to the store. That sucks.
No, because I have a penis, I might get killed by the Uber driver. That's
yeah, we're leaving you guys with the riffraff and the criminals, and we're going over to the good stuff. Our car smells like potpourri and perfume.
Right. Ours smells like cyanide and chloroform.
And Milo's tears.
Oh, man.
So are you happy about this new president?
No, I'm not. Very scary. The weird thing is, but I keep having this weird, stupid, false hope, thinking, maybe it'll get better, maybe things will be okay. But based on what?
And then the next day it gets worse.
Yeah. It's nice that the courts stopped him. That's good.
Yeah. To let you know that you're not a king.
Right.
So every once in a while he needs to be reminded of that. But his tweets crack me up. Oh, Nordstrom took my daughter Ivanka's clothes out of their store. She's a good person. She's always pushing me to do the right thing. You're 70. Why does anybody have to push you to do the right thing, you old fart? You should already know to do the right. You're not 4. We don't have to keep slapping the back of your hand, your orange hand.
He is 4, sadly, and that's an insult to 4-year-olds.
It is an insult to 4-year-old.
He is quite terrifying.
Can you imagine? But my thing is, he's up every night, 2, 3, and 4 a.m. tweeting. He's obviously not having sex with Melania. Who's screwing malaria?
They're not even in the same. She's still in New York, right?
Can you blame her?
No.
She wants to go back to what's her country? She wants to go back there, Slovenia.
Oh,
She's
Slovenia.
trying to get back to Slovenia.
Huh.
She's trying to get back.
Oh man.
She's like, this is not what I signed on for.
Yeah, that whole situation is not good. Not good.
I loved it when she stole the speech Michelle Obama had already done. I was a poor black girl growing up in Chicago. My daughter Sasha and Malia.
No, Ivanka, you can't do that. That's the other thing that creeps me out too, is how the people around them, like such loyalty.
Yeah.
That is, that's what scares me.
They're sycophants.
Yeah.
Nobody tells Donald Trump no. He has siblings that we never hear from or see. Because they know what he really is, and they're like, we're going underground. I cannot believe they voted for my crazy, batshit crazy brother.
Well, and then there's the one daughter who never taught, Tiffany, who's kind of, we don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Her mother was the one that, remember they got the taxes from like 1995 that showed he doesn't pay any real taxes. That was from Tiffany's mom. She snuck that copy over there.
That's Marla Maples, right?
Yeah, Marla. They said Marla can't stand him.
Yeah, I can't imagine why.
Because he had her sign some prenup that gave her like $8 and an apple. So she's still bitter.
So, Alycia, where can we see you coming up? Well, Claremont.
Yes, I'm at Flappers in Claremont, so hold your jealousy. Put the voodoo dolls away. You too can get there one day. Flappers in Claremont, March 3rd and 4th.
Mm-hmm. No, 4th and 5th.
4th, see. You sure?
Mm-hmm. 3 days.
3rd, 4th, and 5th. Right. 3rd, 4th, and 5th. You know what? They added an extra day because that's how bad I am. So make sure you come out to Claremont. And if you're already in Claremont, come down the street. We're going to have so much fun.
And any other upcoming projects you can tell us about? Anything down the pipeline?
Projects? No. I have nothing. I have nothing.
Other than the next album.
Yes, I'm going to work on the next album this year so I can get it ready for next year. It's going to be a process.
45 minutes of clean Cooper.
Yeah. That might be the title.
45 minutes of clean Cooper.
The last 45 minutes of clean Cooper. You won't want to miss it.
And Hollywood, by the way, cast this person, please. Cast Alycia Cooper.
Yeah, find something for me. Dang.
And send her a packet, you people.
Somebody in a political show, send me a packet. How did I not get a packet? Who's hoarding the packets? Who's lying about having sent me a packet and I didn't respond? Who's lying?
Right now in an office, someone they're like, would send her the packet.
Send me a packet.
Who didn't send her the packet?
Somebody. Give me the packet. With a packet and a packet. Remember when Trump and Hillary were in their debate? I'm like, you're the puppet. You're the puppet. You're the puppet. You're the puppet. Send me the packet. You send me the packet. Send me the packet. Send the packet. You send the packet.
Ah, man. That is, that's always, you got to know a guy who knows. I don't know. It's some weird thing.
Yeah. It's all going down, I think, in New York City. So can someone in New York City send me a packet? Somebody, Trevor Noah, send me a packet. Send me a packet, Trevor.
You'd be great on Trevor Noah.
I would be great on Trevor Noah, literally and figuratively. Send me a packet, Trevor. Send me a packet, Trevor. I know your book is called Born a Crime, but you're on a crime as far as I'm concerned, Trevor. Send me a packet. Send me a packet. Where's the packet, Trevor? Send me the packet.
All right, Alycia,
Yes.
thank you so much for being
Thank you guys for having
on the show.
You're going to make sure somebody sends me a packet? Barbara Holiday has connections.
I will tell her to
Okay,
ask.
thank
I will
you.
ask.
Yeah, because I'm sure Barbara gets calls for packets all the time.
I think here. Yeah, I think she does here and there.
Got to.
So
Barbara, send me a packet. Send me a packet, Barbara. Send me the packet.
And a few shows coming up at Flappers.
Yes.
This weekend, Tony Baker will be headlining Friday and Saturday. You know
Oh,
Tony,
I
right?
love Tony.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. A lot of fun. He kind of reminds me, in a way, kind of a young Bill Cosby. Like
He does.
comedy-wise, not scandal-wise.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think Tony has any pills. That's expensive.
And then this weekend in Claremont, Kel Mitchell from
Kenan and Kel.
Yep,
Yeah.
from Good Burger. Who,
Oh man, Good Burger.
Yep, who is expecting another child, actually.
Wow,
They just announced.
congratulations.
Yes.
Whoa, another
Yes.
Good Burger.
And
Name the child Hot Dog.
and then all this week, on tomorrow night we got Jonathan Kite from Two Broke Girls.
Wow.
Wednesday, Dat Fan, original winner of Last Comic Standing.
Wow, Dad is back.
And Roy Albanese, who's the executive producer on Jon Stewart's The Daily Show, will be here.
Tell Roy to send me a packet. Send me a packet, Roy. Send me a packet.
Will be. I think. I don't think he's doing. I think he's just doing stand-up now. They need to send.
He
him
knows
a
where the
packet
packets
too.
are.
Roy Albanese will be here Thursday. Jeff Garland will be here Sunday. And just announced, this is all the way in April, we're getting a one-night only. Carol Leifer and Kevin Pollak will be here.
Whoa, that's a 1-2 punch. Carol knows where the packets are. Tell Carol to send me a packet. Send me a packet, Carol.
And then all through March in Burbank, all of the headliners are women. It's our Women's March. That's what we're doing. All female headliners. Coco Brown is the first weekend.
Okay, I love Coco.
I think then Taylor Tomlinson, Jackie Cation,
Jackie,
Lori Kilmartin, and Kristen Key.
Wow,
Yeah.
that is a powerhouse of estrogen, ovaries, and menstrual cycles.
Yes, indeed. That's
Tell one of them chicks to send me a packet.
yes. I'm sure.
Lori knows where the packets are.
We're big on the packets here. We
Yes,
make sure they send them the packet.
And not a packet of equal. I want a packet for jokes.
Once again, Alycia Cooper, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
I'm kind of waiting for there's the outro music. There it is.
Down.
Our sound engineer is Christopher De Los Santos. Our manager is William Nickerson.
Woo! William!
And now I'm turning into an NPR guy. Our promotional considerations.
Provided by...
All right, guys. Thank you for another episode of FlappCast. Behind the Funny. Alycia Cooper, Joshua Snyder, flapping out.